So right now, Abuja is hot with news and reactions after a massive protest broke out earlier today over the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. The protest was not a small one. People came out in their numbers, carrying banners, chanting and calling on the federal government to release Kanu. You could literally feel the tension in the air. Protesters started gathering early in the morning in different parts of the city, around Transcorp Hilton, Central Business District, and some major roads that lead to Eagle Square. The plan, according to some of the organizers, was to march peacefully and draw attention to Kanu's long detention. They said they were not there to fight or destroy anything, but to speak out and make their voices heard. But as usual,
when things like this happen in Abuja, security agencies are always on alert. Police, soldiers, and other security personnel were already positioned at key locations. They blocked major access roads and put up barricades trying to control the crowd and stop people from going near sensitive government buildings like the Presidential Villa and the National Assembly. You could see patrol vans, armored vehicles, and officers everywhere keeping watch. Now here's where the tension started rising. As more people gathered, the crowd became larger and chants grew louder. Protesters carried flags, placards, and some were shouting, "Free Nnamdi Kanu now." The energy was high, emotions were raw, and it was clear that people were frustrated. Before long, the police started using tear gas to disperse the crowd. That's when everything changed. If you've ever been near tear gas before, you'll understand. It burns the eyes, makes you cough, and people start running. There were sounds of canisters popping, smoke everywhere, and people shouting. Some of the protesters tried to hold their ground, saying they had the right to protest peacefully, but the situation got messy. Many were seen running for safety, some falling, others helping each other to escape the chaos. Reports also say some journalists were affected. One or two had their cameras damaged while covering the scene. There were also claims that some protesters were arrested, though exact numbers haven't been officially confirmed yet. The police later said the crowd was getting too close to restricted areas, and that's why they had to act. Now, before we go deeper, please, if you're watching this video, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can always get real, verified updates. Don't forget, your support helps us keep bringing you the truth in a simple and professional way. All right, let's continue. This protest didn't just come out of nowhere. Nnamdi Kanu's detention has been a serious issue for a long time. He was rearrested and has been facing terrorism and other related charges in court. His supporters believe he's being unfairly held, and that's why they keep demanding his release. Some say his continued detention goes against court orders, and that's what has made people come out again in anger. In fact, many of them said they're tired of waiting. They believe Kanu's case has dragged on too long, and that if the government really believes in justice, they should let the court process take its full course, or release him if there's no clear evidence against him. That's the argument you'll hear from the people in the crowd. Now, the police on their side have said something very different. Their own story is that the protesters didn't get full clearance to march through certain areas, and that they were trying to move into restricted zones that could threaten public safety. The police say their response was only to maintain peace and protect lives and property. But honestly, anyone who saw those scenes would tell you the whole thing was tense. You could see young men and women covering their faces from smoke, traffic at a standstill, people shouting, and confusion everywhere. Some traders nearby quickly locked their shops and ran. Even commuters trying to get to work were stuck because many roads were blocked. Abuja came to a temporary halt. And again, if you're watching this right now, please like this video and subscribe. It helps a lot. We need more people like you who want balanced, clear information, not rumors. Now let's talk about why this protest matters. It's not just about Nnamdi Kanu alone. It's about the bigger question of fairness and freedom in Nigeria. Many protesters said they're standing for justice and equality. They said people in the Southeast feel neglected and that this case is a symbol of that. Whether you agree or not, one thing is clear. When citizens feel unheard for too long, they take to the streets to speak for themselves. At the same time, you can't ignore the security side. The government has been very sensitive about anything that could lead to unrest.
They've seen what happens when protests turn violent, and they don't want a repeat of that. That's why the police moved fast. They wanted to prevent the situation from getting out of control. But there's always that thin line between keeping peace and violating people's rights. That's the line everyone's talking about now. Did the police go too far? Or were they simply doing their job to prevent violence? That's the question on everyone's lips. Some human rights groups have already spoken up, saying the use of tear gas on peaceful protesters is unacceptable. They're calling for the immediate release of everyone arrested and asking for an investigation into what really happened today. Now, if you're still watching, please take 1 second to click the like button and subscribe. I'll keep reminding you because that's how we grow this platform and keep giving you unbiased news that you can trust. Moving on, there's also the political side of all this. The federal government, of course, will be watching closely. This is not just any protest. It's one that touches on national unity and security. Politicians are likely already discussing what to do next. Some will call for calm, others will take advantage of it to push their agendas. That's how politics works. In the coming days, we expect more statements from the police, the federal government, and even from IPOB lawyers. There might also be court actions from the protesters' side. It's going to be a back and forth situation for a while. Now let's talk about the impact on the people of Abuja. If you were in the city today, you'd have seen the effect firsthand. Traffic everywhere, businesses closing early, and people rushing home before things got worse. Some parents couldn't pick their kids from school on time. It wasn't just political. It affected ordinary people going about their daily lives, and that's why many residents are calling for dialogue instead of street confrontation. They say the government and the movement should sit down and talk instead of turning Abuja into a battleground. It's a valid point because at the end of the day, everyone just wants peace. Before we continue, please again like this video if you're enjoying this gist and subscribe so you don't miss the follow-up updates. Now let's dig a bit into the background so everyone can understand the full picture. The story of Nnamdi Kanu didn't start today. His movement has been pushing for self-determination for years. The group he leads, IPOB, was declared illegal by the federal government. But despite that, their support base remains strong, especially in the Southeast. Kanu himself was first arrested several years ago, then released on bail and later rearrested. Since then, there's been a long court battle with lawyers demanding his release and the government insisting he must face trial. The case touches sensitive nerves in Nigeria because it brings back old memories of the Civil War era and a long-standing cry for equality and representation. And that's why every small update about Kanu's case spreads quickly online, because people care deeply about it. It's not just a legal issue. It's emotional, it's political, and it's historical. Now, let's talk about what could happen next. After today's protest, more groups might come out in other cities, maybe in the Southeast or even in Lagos, to show solidarity. There's also a chance that lawyers will go to court to challenge the police action and demand the release of those arrested. Some lawmakers might even raise the issue at the National Assembly. For now, Abuja remains calm but heavily guarded. Security checkpoints are still up in many places and police are monitoring the situation closely to prevent another large gathering. Once again, if you're watching this gist right now, please take a second, hit that like button and subscribe. I truly appreciate every single one of you who supports this channel. Now, let's be honest, the government is walking on a thin line here. They want to maintain law and order, but they also know the world is watching. How they handle this situation will say a lot about Nigeria's democracy, because the right to protest is part of freedom, and every democratic government has to respect that, even when the message is uncomfortable.
So far, we haven't heard of any confirmed deaths, and that's a good thing. But there are reports of injuries, mostly from people running or inhaling tear gas. The hope now is that everyone stays calm and the authorities handle the matter with transparency. And one more thing, if you're watching from the southeast or anywhere else in Nigeria, please let me know what's happening around you. Are people planning more protests? What are the conversations on the ground? Drop your comments and let's keep the conversation going peacefully. And yes,
don't forget, like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, let's continue with what we know so far. As of now, the police have said that order has been restored in Abuja and normal activities are gradually returning. But eyewitnesses say there's still a strong presence of security officers, especially around the central area and routes leading to government buildings. They're not taking chances. Some protesters have vowed not to stop until Kanu is released. They're saying this is just the beginning and that the government must listen. But others are calling for calm and dialogue, warning that constant street clashes could only bring more harm than good. This story will definitely continue to develop over the coming days. There will be more updates, more reactions, and hopefully more clarity from both sides. So make sure you've liked this video and subscribed because I'll be here bringing you every detail as it unfolds, clearly, simply, and respectfully.